Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back. We seem to have had a very interesting yesterday. How's everyone feeling? I know personally I'm quite exhausted still from all the streams and well, energy drinks trying to keep me going for the second, third, fourth. Well, it's been about 5 days to be honest. Try to get everything set up and make sure everything's on point. As Dragonfly, especially with the server, knows lots of testing for last minute changes. Commentators, just making sure they're still going to be here. Shadow, I'm going to slap you in a minute. It's been quite a very interesting time. It's been great, honestly. Let me just unmute myself so a second. There we go. So yeah, we've actually been having a really good time. So what I'm going to do is going to do a quick breakdown of what's actually happened so far. Just move my thing over the screen. So we've actually had 4 matches yesterday. We did 6 Nuketeers against FluX's server. Very different playstyles and areas. We had the funny, which is soon going to be a meme of me being killed by a triple husk. My team lost by 30, 40 seconds. Yeah, about 42 seconds. With the different playstyles, it just shows how close things can be. That was literally breaking point of anything could go. And clearly, the Husk got the winner out of that. So yes, 6 Nuketeers got the win out of that. We also went and had the match between... sorry, I'm just double checking because I got it in a different order. Let me use the other panel. It'll be easier. Do apologize. You had the Janitor Jedi Association versus the Badass Basilisk in the Dystopia 2029 Odes to Matriarch. Completely different playstyles. You had the very stable playstyle, playing it safe, and then you had the very aggressive, always adaptive on the traders, and it made a huge difference. So, both teams played well. You had some really good moments for certain characters. I have got all the MVPs wrote down in the announcement yesterday, so I hope you guys feel good because you guys have all been mentioned out there. Stats, I haven't been able to do that. For the teams, I'll be definitely getting that over the next week because it is going to take me quite a bit because I have to do every player and every team, and I actually have to grab the information from the servers. And today is going to be 6 matches. I didn't want to interrupt anything here. So far, that's what we caught up with. I want to say welcome to Vaan, who's actually going to be one of our commentators from today. So he's going to be here with me today. Want to say hi?
Yeah, hello. Thanks for having me.
No problem. So, it's going to see how it goes. Be nice to him. Some of you already know him, okay? But, let's go straight into what we're going to be going today. So, Vaan, have you seen what matchup we got right now?
I believe it is 6 Nuketeers on Sanitarium versus... Basilisks, is that correct?
Let me just double check that. Sorry, I've got 2 different spreadsheets with different orders. Badass, yeah. So it'll be against the Badass Basilisk, which we'll be playing later.
Right.
And they will also be playing with the Matriarch, which we haven't seen so far.
Yes.
But also has the most complaints when it comes to bosses. So that should be interesting. So we are on this server. Let me just see if they're ready for it. So, have you got much experience with this map, Vaan?
Well, this map is interesting. It's pretty unpopular within the pub scene, I believe, because it's really clunky and the hold spots aren't too comfortable. Not even in the CD scene, this map is played at all. Even it's the map is a bit unusual for speedrunning because the spawns are relatively slow and there's not a lot of comfortable spots for minimized line of sight where you wouldn't get destroyed because you're in a corner.
Yeah, so I'm looking through. I'll be honest, this is the first time I'm seeing this map.
Right.
If I remember correctly, this actually was also a community map. Which is, I actually seen some bits where I can tell it's not a tripwire map, but it has been slightly tweaked and all that. It does seem like it's a very close map, but
Yes.
open at the same time. Lots of white spaces, but in a confined area.
Yes. So the interesting thing about this map, Sanitarium, that distinguishes it from the other maps in the pool, it's actually quite game changing. The traders work a bit differently. Instead of being randomly selected from a trader like within the map, there's a dedicated course of traders from wave to wave. And so
Okay.
it's interesting to think about what teams would do in order to accommodate that fact, if they are aware of it at all, even.
See, I wasn't actually aware of that.
Yes,
That actually could be quite game changing overall for
yes,
team strategies as well.
exactly. Because when you think about it, it's say a team is depending on the RNG of a particular trader. This one, it wouldn't work the same because you would have to follow the line of traders throughout the course of the match, and eventually you'd reach the furthest one below. And so if you choose to go trader to trader, you'd be descending the map, and eventually on boss wave you'd come back to the surface.
Okay. So I'm seeing there's a lot underground. I do apologize for the team actually plan. I kind of need to look into this. Because for me, I can't really commentate on stuff I don't really know, which is quite embarrassing. But at the same time, it's a good learning experience, I think, for most people. I might find something nobody else has seen before. I might be able to learn something from this. So it looks like a really decent map. A lot of different rooms with different styles.
Yes.
Some bits don't make sense. Poison in a room, a hallway going to a broken wall. Why is it a broken wall and why is there a hallway to it? Some weird things don't make sense, but this is quite a. I say it really does seem like a real claustrophobic map, and
Yes.
I think this is going to make a huge difference when it comes to perks. And speaking of perks, we are seeing demo, SWAT, medic, berserker, support, and firebug. I would say that's quite a close combat style perk set, other than the demo, but I think the demo is just kind of a support.
Right.
How do you feel
I
about their perks?
the I agree that the pair composition of this team it seems leaning towards a narrow space sort of engagement range. It might be kind of hard to guess where they might hold with this composition, but I'm guessing they're capable of holding like pretty point blank sort of spots.
Who needs a weapon?
It makes me wonder if they have like several spots that they've planned throughout the match.
Yeah, that's actually the one thing I'm wondering too. Especially starting in a maze, there's going to be should be a lot of spawns surrounding them very fast. So I'm just wondering if they're going to be abusing that, or they're going to be rushing for a certain location.
Right. So it appears they're hovering around the first trader. I believe they're trying to finish the first wave around this open space.
So this first wave actually going to be quite the make or break for this. The differences between the teams, it would seem, especially perk wise. Like they do have quite the a good clear for, or at least more of a standard clearing perk set for wave one.
Right.
The firebug being the main clearer, 100%. Support,
Yes.
not really that great on the wave one. It's strong on every other wave, but it's just the wave one it kind of lacks. And with the demo and the nukes, should be quite interesting.
Yeah, I agree. Since it's only the first wave, we don't yet know what this team plans on doing for the various traders. I'm not sure if they would decide to hold this location for the rest of the match, but it makes me think if they're banking on the use of the trap at all, the flood at that area. Are you aware of the traps on this map, FluX?
I actually don't really know anything about this map, I'll be honest.
Okay. Yeah, so
This is literally my first time seeing it.
right, the spot they're holding actually, if you would just move the camera like towards the trader, there's
Yep.
a switch. There's a switch on the wall, right around that square area. I believe later in the match, I'm not sure exactly what wave, maybe 5.
Oh, yes.
The Cthulhu appears in the water, and you're able to access a trap that floods this area, and it would sweep like quite a few Zeds towards the wall. Maybe if they're planning that into their strategy, they could get easy farm kills.
Okay. So it seems like we got a lot of traps in this map. Because I've been seeing these panels quite a few areas.
Yes, this map is quite complex. There's many various kinds of traps. Like just a bit forward up the stairs on the left, there's another sort of trap. It's like a tentacle whip.
Okay. Let's see how long they're going to be try skipping. So got exactly 30 seconds. Not bad. First wave. I think they could have done a little bit better, especially when they're already on the actual trader itself.
Right.
But also, wave 1, there's a bit more planning to who gets what, so I can understand. It did seem like we're getting mixed views, though.
Right. It appears they're moving their hold from the outer area in wave 1 to the... It seems like the interior stairway.
It seems like...
Sorry.
No, go on.
I caught a glimpse of the first trader. It seemed like they were throwing dodge to one particular person. I wonder if they adopted that strategy from Vaan2k for their early railgun. I missed who exactly they were stacking the dodge on, but I wonder if they're going for a higher tier weapon in this wave.
So we have got the support on the HSG, which is not what I expected. The support isn't usually the one you want to kind of boost up. You have got the medic with the Hemogoblin. Good move. The SWAT hasn't got another weapon. The Firebug has got the... Is the Firebug? Yeah, the Firebug, the dual Spitfires.
Yes.
Which is quite a cheap alternative, but very powerful. Demo with a standard loadout. HX25. I'm not too sure if they got an M79. They definitely have got a second weapon.
Yes. So it seems like they have specific arrangements within this whole location. It looks like the medic is holding the balcony for a vantage point on being able to heal the teammates easily from above. It's good use of terrain for this location. Perhaps they planned this beforehand.
I think considering all maps, this one's going to take a lot more planning, from what you've told me. I mean, especially like we've seen like teams have abused certain spawn rates with locations. We've seen them with trader abusing by going to each one and just holding as best as they can near it.
Right.
I think they're trying to do a similar thing on here, but it's not the same because of how large the areas are. So it requires that little extra to figure out, okay, when's best to move? Which sets can we kill? You know, which area can we actually use? Because I'm seeing so many open line of sight areas that are just going to be impossible to be able to keep everything spawning as quick as possible.
Right. And this map has so many different traders that you have to wonder if they've like prepared enough for each individual hold spot. If they decide they want to hold right on the trader for each wave, perhaps there's an uncomfortable hold that's coming up and it could risk like, the integrity of their hold. Perhaps it would be a better strategy to like hold a spot nearby trader that's more comfortable or faster for spawns.
So the demo has gone for the torpedo gun. I can't remember the official term for it, but
It is the seal scroll, I believe.
that's the one, Seal Skull. Oh no, not Seal Skull. It's the other one, the Seal Skull. Oh, it is. Sorry, I'm wrong. It is a Seal Skull. In California 1, this one was absolute trash, hands down. Don't care what anyone says. I think everyone, like 99% of people, are going to agree with that. In Killing Floor 2, I don't know what to feel about it.
It's an interesting weapon. It takes some understanding of its timing. I believe the alternate fire is the detonation on the bolt is delayed.
Yes. Yeah.
I don't have much experience with the weapon, but perhaps if someone has enough practice, he could utilize it effectively.
So I feel like it's the kind of weapon that you really have to specify when and how you use it. So like, if you stick it to a wall, fine, but you can stick it to Zeds. But then if you do that, you need to time out how close the Z is to the thing, because obviously with radius it drops the damage, and some other bits and pieces. But it doesn't. I just feel like other guns for the price that you're paying have more efficiency than this one does. Even though this one's very situational. It's very hard to explain, but I feel I'm getting my point across enough. For your money's worth, you're probably better off with other weapons.
I agree. This weapon is a bit of an interesting choice. I wonder if they considered the synergy with this weapon with other perks or teammates. If you have to consider if like he sticks his scrape with the bolt and waits to detonate it, is he coordinating a takedown with another teammate, or is he, recklessly detonating?
Yeah. I do have a question. Do you think in Z time it's good for turning a boss into a porcupine and then detonating them? Well, do you have an answer for this one? I'm not too sure if I do.
Yeah, I don't understand the weapon all that much. I don't know if you can stick so many bolts where I would think you'd get like as many as there are in a magazine and no more. But the way that a C4 for demo works is every consecutive C4 that you detonate after the other one has lower damage. It's fraction. The second one does much less damage than the first one, and so on. So if you were to stick a boss and riddle him with bolts, it might not be all that great, because like the fifth or sixth bolt, if it works like C4, it may not even do all that much damage.
So if we use the theory that it does not stack, so obviously it means each shot or explosive will be reduced damage, I guess we would probably agree and say it's not worth it. Well, if it does stack, does that change your mind, or you still think it's just not worth it?
The weapon is a bit too clunky, in my opinion, and there are just better options in the demo kit versus boss.
I have to agree with that. So like, with the porcupine effect, yes, it looks funny. Okay, that's hands down, I think everyone's going to agree. You could turn it into a meme. It will be that funny. We already had a comment saying that incredible funny, especially when it throws his dead Z into a group for area effector kills. I can see so many funny moments you can have with that. For competitive play, I think it actually does the opposite of what you want to achieve. Maybe you can... Okay, so for open maps, I'll 100% say no. When it comes to close combat maps where you're very chokehold heavy, I think you could actually make use of it. But like Vaan said, I genuinely think there is just other weapons that actually achieve the same and better. Like I think the Seeker 6 itself is way better than this gun. Especially with the nuke. The little mini rockets or little mini nukes going towards there, making nuke explosions. It's a fun weapon, and it has decent damage after the buffs.
Right. And to further discuss like the topic of like a kit specific to a boss, maybe the Steel Squeal, I wonder if they've like specifically chosen the Steel Squeal for Matriarch if they think it's more effective against her.
So, as on Monkey actually said, it doesn't reduce explosive damage like the C4, but it also does only 30% of the damage of the C4 per explosive. C4 does not have reduced damage from stacks when detonating during Z time.
Okay, I see.
So that's actually really good, handy information for anyone who's actually willing to use it. In general, from that, C4 just outright outperforms the Harpoon. Yes. It's cheaper. Yes, you have less shots, but you're only doing it for certain targets.
Yes.
Oh, we see a flash run. Everyone's taking a bit of damage.
Oh, the fidget spinner.
So medic does actually have the extra 25 health. The berserker definitely has the extra 100 health on top. The others sticking to the standard 100 health, it seems. I could be wrong. The support might actually be on 125. Oh no, it'd be 50, won't it? No, he's not.
To further discuss the topic of C4, I was unaware of that function that the reduced damage is negated if it's in Z time. It would damage as it normally would. That's pretty devastating if you're able to stack many C4, maybe against Matriarch specifically, if you want to like burst her armor all at once.
Destroyer of Worlds, kind of crazy. Yes, I actually didn't know about the C4 in Z time either. Whether I'd still use it, I guess it depends on the boss and what kind of map we use. It causes the lack of reduction during Z time.
What the hell is that?
So it seems like they went to a lower trader, but decided to come back up to their usual hold spot. So I wonder if they're aware that the traders keep descending as the match progresses. It's gonna be harmful to their travel time once it's the final trader.
I think with the right timing, the right callouts, and the right reaction time, they could actually counter that and maybe have a second strategy, which for the further ones. It's possible. We've seen it with the in other maps before.
Right.
Like sometimes it's just better to hold a room for that extra 40 meters if it's safer and not a risk. Whereas when you go to the next one, which is like an extra 70 meters extra on top, there's going to be another opportunity to go somewhere else. So that's possible.
I see. So then are you predicting an alternative hold once the next couple waves progress?
I think to actually, if you're 100% sure about the whole trader going down and down,
Yes.
yes, it's the only way they'll be able to actually keep the time up. Otherwise, from what I'm seeing, they're going to be putting themselves into a very difficult, risky situation where they're going to be falling back during the waves, which will be very risky. Just imagine one flesh pound being in them hallways. That's can be tough. The other downside to it is actually going to be the trader skips. You're actually going to be using more of the trader if you don't want to be taking the risk. So it's basically like a double negative at this point.
Yeah, and there are strategies to like relieve the time consumption of like transit to each trader, especially really long distance ones, like 100-meter plus. Maybe the medic is using 501 or gas nades to give teammates speed boosts for their travel time, but these traders are just far too distant for it to be like effective for their final time.
If they could actually abuse the medic movement speed, which so far most teams seem to be doing, that will give them definitely a couple of seconds advantage. Right. But I don't know if it's going to be enough with the distances that they'll be pulling.
Right.
If they want to get the more advantage, they have to find an alternative. If they're just playing it for the safety, okay, this is fine. But then so basically when it comes to like this sort of situation, you need to see what's the pros and cons of everything, and you kind of need to figure out, is it worth it? If we do this, if we lose out on this, can we benefit somewhere else? And I think if you're holding one spot, in most maps, there is actually too many downsides to the actual pros.
Yeah, and you've got to wonder if they've prepared or even thought about it, secondary holds to accommodate the further traders. They're on good pace for 15 minutes on the end of wave 5 coming up, but it will hurt their time if they're descending all the way. It seems like, I don't know if they're strategically leaving a couple of Zeds alive in order to reach the trader before the wave ends, or if that Zed was just lingering.
So it does seem like a bit of a mixed viewpoint on this bit, because I'm looking at their strategy, their distances, their reaction time and stuff like that. It seems like, yes, they get, like this one, they had a decent trader skip, 35 seconds. They were already at the trader, so that was 25 seconds that they've skipped. Sorry, they actually used up. But the bit that concerns me is that they took so long to kill the last few Zeds.
Right.
That the actual 20 seconds, the 35 seconds they actually lasted wasn't actually 35 seconds they saved. It's more, they probably wasted. Oh yeah, Cthulhu's out. They actually lost out on time. So it's kind of very 50-50 right now. Whether the actual plan they're doing is actually benefiting them or not, or it's just, you know, casually being the same.
I do believe the next trader coming up is within the mansion on the first floor, but perhaps I'm wrong and there's another one below.
I would just like to buy in and say the demo got the Seeker 6. I am proud of this demo. I actually have noticed one thing about the SWAT's loadout. He's got the freeze gun, freeze thrower, and he also has the medic SMG. So he's actually going for an off-perk build, but
Yes.
very supportive of his team.
Yeah, it's quite interesting. The 201 is a very weak weapon on SWAT, especially compared to other options in his arsenal. The 201 won't be able to contribute very much. And you wouldn't need to heal with Barrage because they have a medic. And so the health thrower is even more unusual since Flash is within the SWAT's kit. He's carrying two different options for stunning Zeds.
So the role that they're giving this SWAT is clearly going for the crowd control based style, the backup as a secondary medic. Do you feel that that is actually too much for one perk to be doing? Or, like, especially as he's doing off perk as well as a second role, he's not actually doing his primary role. Do you feel like that's actually a benefit, or do you feel like this actually has more negative effects?
I don't believe they're using their SWAT very well. The freeze thrower is quite unusual, especially when you look at the perks around him. If he's going for freezes, who's taking advantage of free headshots? Like they have a demo and a firebug, and a Zerk even. There's no precision perks to take advantage of like a scrape that's standing still. I wonder if they have the freeze thrower because they were fearful of using all 5 flashbangs too early. But I do believe the SWAT is not fulfilling the SWAT's role. For instance, the SWAT's like pretty recognized for its trash killing capabilities, especially with weapons like the Chris or the nail gun. But he has neither of those.
I have to admit, I am actually quite confused on the usage of the SWAT. It's at the bottom of the scoreboard with the medic, which is not really unheard of, but for a trash killer, they're usually one of the tops.
Exactly.
But being in a supportive role, it seems like the actual medic feels more aggressive than the actual SWAT. I'm not used to saying that, because usually with a SWAT, you want to be the frontliner. You want to be like almost like a second Zerker. So I don't think they've actually gone for the armor side of the thing. I think they've actually gone for the other side of the skill tree.
Right.
So we're definitely going to have to ask Spoke, because Spoke will actually be joining us after the match for a small little interview as well, so we can see the insides of what was going on.
Yes, it does make me wonder if perhaps Spoke would have preferred playing Survivalist had it not been banned. It's what it feels like he's trying to attempt. With 201 darts, you know, Survivalist having the healing benefits, and the freeze thrower being on perk for survivalist. It's almost like you wanted to play survivalist, but you're stuck with Swan.
That's what I see the build insanely interesting. Okay, yeah, it's quite interesting. It's oh, we got 2 fresh pans coming from the side. I think they've both been knocked over. Yep, both knocked over. Here they come. There's 3 of them.
Oh wow.
So 1's down.
2 rages, 3 rages.
2 down, 3 down. Okay. We have got quarters. You know what? They're handling it quite well. They should handle this rather well for the perks and the positions they got.
Yes, I believe they combat quite efficiently. One person must have called triple rage FP, and the whole team turned around to engage it.
So the bit... Hey Ryan. So the bit that I'm actually noticing is that if we look at the stats, clearly this Firebug is on point. He is controlling, he's using the projectile build. So he can kill large Zeds, he can kill the trash, he can abuse the Z time, which is great. But if he's doing an all-in-one perk, someone else is lacking. And at the moment the support is also top, doing really well. The demo is sitting back as more of a support. Especially with the Seeker 6, you're more of a trash killer than you are a large Z killer. Which actually does kind of swap the roles a little bit. The Firebug is not usually this aggressive, where they are now. And the demo is normally the aggressive one, but he's not. So, very questionable strats, I would say.
Yes.
I got a comment saying it looks like the demo is way more crowd controlled. I think it'll be more crowd controlled with the RPG. With the Seeker 6, it's a little bit questionable. Oh, we do have 2 flesh pan, 4 coming in. There's 1 flesh pan, 3 quarters down. Okay, all down. Scrakes in the middle. And here comes more quarters. This is the last bit of wave 7. So after this, they'll be playing against the boss, which will be the Matriarch.
I wonder what 6 Nuketeers are thinking with their perk composition. It seems like their utilization of each perk is pretty unorthodox.
This is very odd, and I do have a lot of questions about this kind of strategy, the perk layouts, mostly the weapons itself. The one question I would kind of want to ask is, okay, the medic seems to be very out of place, so they're very safe. Oh, here comes another Flesh Panther caller. Caller's down. And another caller coming in, Flesh Panther still there with another Flesh Panther caller coming after him. Taking a bit of damage.
Oh wow, that staircase is stacked.
But they are melting it with the amount that they actually got quite a bit of crowd control, especially with that freeze thrower. That's what comes into my question. Why is it that they pull it onto the SWAT when the SWAT could have more opportunities to play their role? Then why don't they just move the freeze thrower to the medic? Because the medic seems to only be using the Hemogoblin. And the Hemogoblin is actually really good in these situations, but very limited demo. So I haven't seen them use a second weapon though.
It's too quiet.
So let's see what weapons everyone will be using. Obviously this boss is the hardest one out of all of them. It seems to be definitely agreed on with most people that we've spoken to.
And it makes me wonder if they've changed their loadouts to address this boss specifically.
So someone did actually mention something about the voice chat. I did forget. I'm going to quickly pop into their voice to see how they're doing towards the decisions. So back in a moment.
Yes.
She's coming from there.
Yeah, careful. Come on. This is nice, come on.
Yeah,
Ow.
Ow.
Oh, watch out.
Yeah.
Caught him.
Careful, leaders.
Holy fucks if I'm gonna kiss you, my man.
Watch out, eat us now. I'm gonna kill the Eaters a bit.
Dead.
Nice.
Oh! I'm scared of the red away, you know? Yeah.
Nice, nice, nice.
Holy shit.
Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on!
Nice.
Nice.
So we just had a voice chat with basically the whole boss wave. I must admit that's pretty impressive against the Matriarch. That was very clean. Everyone knew their points. They knew exactly what they were doing. I really don't know what to say about the perks. I guess we really need to bring Spoke in to see how the strategies and all that before we actually go into depth with that. Because for these questions, it'll be very. I think a lot of people could be wondering, like perk choices, the weapon choices. It's a bit questionable. Let me see if he's ready to jump over.
That Matriarch engagement was very clean. They managed to pin her in that hallway, and she was just getting hammered by the whole team. Zerk did a really good job of blocking her off.
So yeah, that's actually one of the things I did notice, that the Berserker hands down went, okay, we're blocking this doorway, and he just stood there. It's nice to see when a Zerk goes, okay, my role is just to say, stay there. You're not moving. I'm in control. The whole Gandalf effect.
Maybe they rehearsed that specific engagement beforehand, knowing where she spawns, knowing what hallway she would come from, knowing where to pin her. It was a very clean takedown.
Right, so I'm just going to pull Spoke over. Hey there, Spoke. How you doing?
Hey.
Let me just quickly turn you up for the moment. Okay, so, congrats on the game.
Oh, thank you.
I personally have a few questions.
Don't congratulate me, congratulate the team.
Oh, of course, it's towards the team, don't worry. So, first of all, I might as well just go straight into it. Perk choices. How did you come up with the perk choices?
We definitely, we kind of improvised a little bit in the game, but basically we really wanted to focus around the Berserker with the demo, Firebug of course, and I wanted to basically run a new utility SWAT with the freeze gun, as you saw. So I have the battering ram, the flashbangs, and the freeze gun in case things get too bad, or you know. And I also wanted to make takedowns easy, so that my demo and Firebug don't need to focus too much on the individual big sets.
Okay, so you definitely looked into how you were doing it, which is great to see. We could see there was actually some pre-planning already in there. So the other question, and this one's probably the most important question for me. Why did the SWAT have the free thrower? Why not someone else?
For the utility.
Okay. Do you feel like it was best on the SWAT, or do you think it might have been best on the others?
I wanted to basically get as much utility as I could, and the flashbangs and freeze grenades. The freeze thrower was basically the best combination I could think of.
Okay.
You know, with the added battering ram in case, and the added extra armor, so I could step in front of someone if the berserker was busy.
Okay, that makes sense.
So basically, I wanted to amplify the core 4 players.
Yeah, that makes sense. So the actual question would really be so you had the freeze throw on the SWAT. You was actually the SWAT, wasn't you?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Can you just tell me the process of your actual weapon loadout, because it felt like it wasn't you wasn't able to actually utilize your perk to the most efficiency. So if you just let me know the thought of
I
the weapons
understand
itself.
completely. I definitely focused as much on utility as possible. I got the nail gun to help out the body damage a bit later, and got the medic SMG to help out the healing. But I definitely focus on the utility so that my other 4 players can really push their perks to the limit, basically.
Okay. No,
and of course,
spot on.
I really couldn't afford to lose the Berserker, so I wanted to have that safety net for him.
Okay, so when we look at the positioning of your team, you had the medic at the top, the demo sitting at the top, like kind of the mid stairs. We did see some, like the positioning seemed like you guys were on point. It definitely was working. Okay, I have no issue with that. You actually did pretty good. The bit that I was questioning was more towards the actual weapons and who utilizes them. So it seemed like SWAT-wise, the weapons felt like you really made the SWAT weaker. I can understand the tanking aspect.
I understand, but
Yeah.
there was definitely there was a plan to it.
You had a plan, so I can't really say it was
I mean,
wrong.
The normal waves were one part, but also the Matriarch.
Was another, yeah.
We really spent a lot of time brainstorming how we should deal with the Matriarch. This really has the capacity to...
I could definitely say your Matriarch run was very clean. Very clean.
Thank you.
Someone's already mentioned about how much damage the Berserker took from the boss at the end. 100... no, let me double check. 178 damage.
Oh, wow.
That's nothing. I'm used to seeing Zerkers taking up to 700-800 on a normal wave, or even on a boss wave, maybe 400.
Really, yeah,
he's basically nothing.
Zifa is truly a god on Berserker. He really knows his stuff.
Yes, I've learned one or two things from him as well myself, I have to admit. So the other perk I wanted to speak about is actually your demo. We did actually chat about the Seal Squill that was used in the early stages. I think from wave 2 to wave 4? Maybe 5? And then later on he used the Seeker 6. Very different weapons to what we're used to seeing on a demo. Any chance you can explain the weapon choices of this?
But from what was explained to me, he really wanted the sustainability and like sustained fire. That was his focus. So I guess he built it around that. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so side different and then very goal based. I guess that's actually pretty good to actually keep a drive going on. Okay, so one of the other things was actually the trader skips and your trader positioning. We did notice that it was downstairs, you did run towards it early, and you still had a couple of seconds where you were waiting for the last Z. What was your process of trying to get to your traders early?
The first wave we wanted to stick around the trader, and later we would act based on how where the traders were. I think we got pretty lucky, but the spawns really we did not expect the faraway spawns, especially the first bloat. I think it was.
Yes.
Spawned really so far away. Well, that was kind of annoying, but we dealt with it. We dealt with it.
Okay. Vaan, have you got any questions yourself at the moment?
I do have some thoughts about the SWAT usage. It's quite untraditional, the loadout that you went with, and SWAT's purpose within the team being more focused on utility and assisting teammates and safeguarding the Zerker instead of dumping bullets into trash like a normal SWAT would.
I had a lot of faith in my demo in Fireball.
Yes.
Yeah.
I can respect such a bold concept. It's nice to see like some out of the box thinking.
Thank you.
Maybe that's what it takes to. Like,
it was team effort. We really all brainstormed.
So it does come down to, if you had the chance to replay what you'd done, would there be any changes you think you would do for the next time?
Not really. Maybe we could definitely optimize the traders, like always. Besides that, I'm very proud of my team and what they did.
So later on, let me just double check what team it was. I can't remember who I'm looking for. I keep looking at the wrong. Sorry, guys. Okay, so next time you'll be facing against. Well, for this one, you'll be facing against Badass Basilisk. How confident are you at the moment for the outcome?
Any thoughts about that? I don't know. I don't really have thoughts about that.
Okay.
I don't mean to like demean the other team.
No, of course.
I hope them the best and may the best team win, I guess.
Because the only reason why, because I will be asking other teams the same thing, it's not to actually demean any team at all. It's more.
I didn't imply. Just I don't have this
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
thoughts.
It's more because this is kind of like a future thing that I'll be asking other teams as well. It's only because now we've got one day out of the way, some teams are going to start seeing what teams are able to pull off, and they might be able to see what they can expect. So like the Badass Basilisk, when they played on the last one, they were very safe optional in the previous map. With this one being an open, wider map, this actually could benefit their team quite a bit.
Right.
So yeah, I think it actually might be quite a close one between your two teams in this one.
I'll definitely be watching. And good luck to them.
Would there anything you would like to add to that?
No, just thank you, FluX, for making this tournament. It's great
problem at all.
fun.
Okay, so we're going to do one more thing before we end the stream. We're actually going to see who was the MVP of the actual match. This goes for everyone. Unfortunately,
Yes.
not for you, Spoke, because you were part of the team. So, Vaan, who would you vote as MVP?
I do have some thoughts about MVP. I have a strong opinion. I believe Zerk was definitely MVP that game, especially in regards to that boss wave. Zerk was in a lot of risk engaging Matriarch so point blank. If he made mistakes, he could cost like a death penalty within that boss wave, and him holding that triple FP at the end of one of those waves coming from the staircase was really competent on his part.
Very interesting. We already have one person saying for SWAT, for the utility for the team. Okay, strong point. One saying medic. So I'm gonna go through mine while we wait for a couple more votes. For me personally, I'm actually gonna say the Firebug. Your Firebug and support especially, they were to the T on point. Anytime there was a large Z, that Firebug was in the direction. He cleared the room and went straight onto them large Zs. The support, I am pretty sure he did insane damage. Let me just have a quick look at some of the damage values. Yeah, 36k. Yeah, just no comment really. That damage dealt is a big jump.
Yeah, I agree.
36k, 19k, 19k, yeah.
This is kind of why I didn't pick the Commando. Commando was considered, but I really wanted during the set times for the Firebug to be allowed to just go absolutely ham without paying attention to what's he shooting at, you know.
It's I definitely would say the Firebug. It does seem like the projectile-based Firebug is kind of OP. I'm kind of considering that at the moment, especially with the projectile-based build. I still would love for any team to pick up the flamethrower build. You would get my respect for that, honestly. So if anyone's planning on it, go on, give us a show. So yeah, we got another vote. One for, also another one for the medic. For the 2 votes on the medic, I kind of want you guys to kind of explain why you think the medic. I want to know why they shine in this one. Because in this one, the medic was actually very support style and sat back and was able to crowd control with the Hemogoblin. But I'm not too sure if I would have considered them to shine through the rest.
You
I
could
would
say
even
the
say-
medic enabled the Berserker.
They were very split. The Berserker at the end, yes, MVP for the boss wave. But for before that, I think it was more based on your other perks, which actually shine. I mean, you as a SWAT, you actually controlled most of the waves for quite a bit of it. You were very second place for the MVP for me personally there as well, especially with the weapon loadout and making it work. So you voted for medic because you're a medic. Okay, your vote don't count. Okay, so we're actually getting quite a mixed one. We'll give it a couple more minutes to try and get the MVP. It would be nice to get one MVP out of this, not another split freeway. Yeah, it does seem like your SWAT is winning this one, Spoke.
Alright, okay. Thank you, guys.
It's well deserved.
There's a quick check on the healing done. So the healing done, 696, 497, 607, 283, 415, 330, and 83. I have to admit, these are quite... I've seen larger numbers. Especially with the, I guess the damage was kind of shared across.
Yeah.
That's what it's healing to. Yeah. But that kind of makes me sway into more of a swap vote.
I have an opinion about Medic being like in the spotlight for MVP. I don't believe Medic deserves all too much credit if the only thing he's doing is keeping his teammates alive. That's part of his job. If the Medic is the MVP, he should be doing something like stand out. He should be like debuffing many larges with Hemogoblin. He should be like, helping with the transits to Trader. He should be like tanking or saving someone's life. If he's just keeping people topped off, there's nothing too special about any other medic in any other match.
I gotta admit, it does seem like a split vote though. Slabber, I know you're a swap player. You're very biased. Don't give me that. So I'm actually gonna go. I'm gonna make a normal decision on this one because it's very split. If I had to pick between the two, medic and swap, I am gonna give it to you on the swap.
I agree.
So yeah, no offense to the medic. It's nothing against them at all.
No, he did excellent.
Swap wise, you pulled it off a new tactic. You pulled out a different style to a swap. You pulled off the off perk style of it as well. So at the moment, to me, you've got like one up, one up, one up. It's yeah, all I can say is definitely well played for that part. Even though I questioned it, you still had really good results and everything with it. No, medic doesn't always get the shaft. Some medics really do shine. Okay, so with that being said, I'm actually going to end the stream here. Thank you very much, guys, for joining us. Spoke. Thank you for coming in for the interview at the end.
Yeah, thank you for the talk.
No problem. So we have got a couple more matches today. We've got 5 more matches to actually play tonight. It's going to be a very busy one. We're actually going to have a double stream later as well. My team is going to be played with on my stream, on my point of view. Only because Cruise Control actually has to stream the other one. We actually have 2 games happening half an hour apart, which means we won't be ready for the both. So unfortunately, I don't actually have a commentator ready for mine available, because Vaan is actually playing in the second match. I would actually have to do that, so we're going to have to bear with me on that one. It will be a bit restricted. So I won't be doing a proper commentation. I would actually be focused on the match itself, so I may actually hide the chat so I can't see what you guys are saying. Especially if you're going to be reminding me about the triple husk, which apparently keeps happening. Yeah, so later on, there also will be less shorter streams as well, because where everyone's within an hour or an hour and a half apart, I need to actually confine the timing a bit more. So at the moment, we've spent just about an hour on this one. Not too bad with the time and everything. But in the next ones, if they're a bit longer or a bit tighter in the times, I will have to restrict like the interviews and stuff. So we'll get the MVP, but then yeah, in terms of actually talking to the captains, that one might actually be skipped until near the end. So hopefully we'll be alright tonight, but 6 matches is quite a bit in one night. So thank you very much, and I'll end it there, and I'll see you later.